Hi, everybody. Welcome to Breaking Free, Living Well. My name is Gaspar Anastasi, and for our guest host, Christina here. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. A little cold today.
Yeah,
but
you staying warm?
Yeah, I'm staying warm. I absolutely am. I'm staying warm because I don't have anger. You know, when you have anger sometimes in your life, you get really hot.
Yeah, you do.
And it does affect your emotions. We're going to talk about anger today and also talk about the solution, which, of course, is Jesus, the Word of God, and a program called Breaking Free, Living Well, which is a wellness center that helps people get set free from things like anger and bitterness.
Yes.
In our next segment, we're going to have Troyan. She's going to come. Troyan's going to be here. Torian. I always miss her name up. Torian will be here. She's a graduate in the Life Dream Center. Also went through Stop Hurting, Start Healing. Yep. And I believe that you were the counselor for her.
I was.
Yeah, so we'll have a lot to share when she's on.
Yeah.
But let's talk about your anger that you once had. And I think every one of us deals with anger from time to time, but some of us have a root of it that continues on from even when we were a child.
Yes.
So talk about yours just for a moment.
I think mine started from childhood. I saw a lot of violence. I didn't have a great relationship with my father. He was an alcoholic, and over time, you get a hardened heart.
For sure.
And before you know it, your defense mechanism becomes anger, and you protrude that anger out to people that you're not even angry at.
Yeah.
But it's that spirit of rejection that's operating within you, and it grows root over the years.
Yeah. Well, like you said, a spirit, because it does turn into a spirit of anger or a spirit of rejection. Doesn't always start that way. But, a lot of things happen in childhood. I wrote that book, The Keys to Your Emotional Freedom, The Child Within. And there's a lot that happens within our childhood that we don't recognize affects us when we get older because it paints a very negative picture in our hearts. It creates, like you said, rejection.
Yeah.
But there's also a spirit of anger that gets transferred as well that now begins to lie dormant until somebody pushes the right button. And then it winds up coming out. And like you said, sometimes it's not even that person. It's just that it did something inside you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good point, too, by the way, to notice and know that a lot of times it's not the person outside or even the circumstance, but it's something in here.
Yes.
So how did you get to recognize that it was inside you?
Well, a lot of prayer, a lot of seeking the Lord, a lot of reflection on my childhood through Stop Hurting, Start Healing.
Yeah.
You got to go back to go forward and start digging those things up and traumas, things like that. And it leads to a lot of low self-esteem, just not valuing myself because maybe I didn't grow up with a father valuing me. So
it gets compounded, So
does.
you're talking about one issue that turns into many more issues.
Yes, it does.
Because it affects your emotions as a being, a human being. And then, of course, once that happens, it affects your behavior. So now your behavior, maybe alcohol or drugs to try to kill the pain or try to avoid the issues, but it doesn't just go away.
No.
You can put anesthesia there and kind of put it away in dullness, but it doesn't do away with the problem. And like you said, you have to go back to go forward. And we want you to know as you're watching that there is hope. There are people that have anger that doesn't happen every day, but happens once in a while. But when it happens, it throws off your whole day and maybe even your future.
Sure.
In the sense that it affects your relationships that now they want to withdraw from you. So that one moment of anger can cause you a lot of pain for the next couple of days, weeks, or even months, or even a lifetime. That's how people kill people. They get so angry and they never dealt with it, and now it explodes at the most inopportune time, and then it winds up causing them to hurt somebody else, including themselves, and wind up being in prison for the rest of their lives. I mean, that's how serious it can be.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So anger is a big deal. That I wrote a little booklet called about anger, how to get out of anger, how to be released from anger. And by the way, you can get a free copy of that if you'd like. Just give us a call, let them know you're watching this particular show, and tell them you'd like that booklet on how to get set free from anger. Now, of course, it's not a complete answer to it, but it certainly will give you a help to know that. But Breaking Free Living Well helped you, didn't it?
Oh, tremendously. Again, transformative. Transformed my life. I was at a place in my life that I was ready for change. I needed change in order to have a successful life, and I was on just a cycle of defeat. And so I had a willingness, and I started facing what was in me, and it allowed me to break free from the bondage of anger.
Yeah, that
and
was
bitterness.
that was a very important point. Facing
it was.
yourself and not constantly blame shifting, because I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the normal way that we live. We blame shift everybody for why we do what we do.
Have to take ownership.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
you don't take ownership, you're never going to change.
That's right.
You might change the people around you. You might even change where you live, but you're not changing the real
You.
core issue, which is you. And I'm sure that's not easy either, because when you're facing yourself, you have to be honest about it, huh?
Sure. When you spend years blame shifting, or
Yeah.
blaming everyone else for why you are the way you are, and suddenly you're having to look at yourself, it was not an easy journey, but it was well worth it.
Did you ever blame God, you think, during that
I
time?
did. Yes,
I think people do
often,
that, yeah.
I would often say, God, why did you make me like this?
Yeah, exactly.
And in reality, He didn't make me like that.
No, what you learn later on, that the enemy is a deceptive force,
Sure.
and he'll try to make us believe that God is the good guy and the bad guy all at the same time.
Yeah.
And if we don't know any better, then when things go wrong, we blame God. And we can have anger towards God. It's
Sure.
interesting that we can do that. And a lot of times that's the thing that hinders you from actually coming closer to Him.
Yes.
Until eventually you come to the end of yourself. You know, there's nothing left to do.
Yeah.
Let me go. And someone, you hear a message that says that God is love. You go, well, what kind of God is this? Well, yeah, He is love. And then when you open your heart to Him, all of a sudden the veils come off your eyes and you begin to realize, you know what, there is an enemy out there, Satan, that does want to keep us away from the very salvation, the very healing that's going to change our lives. Now, you got the inner healing. We're going to talk to Tori on too as well, and she's dealt with that as well. But do you have anger anymore?
No, I don't.
Yeah, okay.
I don't. I've truly been set free from that.
So should I contest you right now?
You
to see?
can.
Yeah, I don't want to be the one testing you. That's for sure. That's the devil's job, not mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the one that comes like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. So we need to be careful. So that's good. That's good
Yeah.
news. And I guess the first one that benefits from that would be your husband,
Yes.
right? 'Cause
Poor guy.
Yeah. So he has the buttons. No more buttons to push, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
And that's a blessing. So it's affected in a positive way.
Yes.
A lot of things in your life, including your marriage. Correct.
Yes. Yeah. Every relationship.
Yeah, you were telling me that, when we first, a long time way back, that
Yeah.
you thought you were angry, you wanted to get a divorce, right? Remember
Yes,
that?
I did.
So that was because of anger, right?
It sure was.
Yeah.
Yeah. From past hurts and traumas.
Yeah, it gets misplaced many times, and it goes on to other people when it really shouldn't.
I never learned how to truly deal with my anger.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's why it's called Breaking Free Living Well.
right.
The Breaking Free Living Well Wellness Center is important because it's one thing to break free, which is exactly what you're sharing, but then also to wind up learning how to live well, which includes a constant Holy Ghost diet of God's presence,
Oh, yes,
of
it
Jesus
does.
being Lord over your life,
Yeah.
and not getting away from that, because without Him, we can never do what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
Or should do, and what God intended us to do. So, yeah, anger and bitterness is a big deal if you happen to have some of that going on in your life and you can't control it. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens when the most inopportune times, and you're living like that for a long time. You don't have to. Give us a call, Breaking Free Living Well Wellness Center, and make an appointment. It's going to really help you to get set free. That inner healing is a big deal. You're going to hear it in the next segment of a young lady that received all of that, and her life is radically changed for the glory of God, and she's got a great destiny in Jesus. So stay tuned. I think you'll be excited and blessed by the testimony.
Our inner healing program, Stop Hurting, Start Healing, helps people break free from past trauma, difficult emotional and life issues, and equipping them to lead a healthy life. This successful faith-based program is founded on biblical principles, allowing God to expose and heal the root of the issues, coming into that place of not only breaking free, but living well. How do I know if I need inner healing? If you keep going through the same negative cycles in your life, if you have a strong overreaction to a situation, or get emotional or angry thinking about someone or a past event, you have unprocessed emotional needs or wounds. If you or someone you know isn't living their best, check out our website breakingfreecc.com or call 239-244-3912. We are compassionate and care about you and the destiny God has for you.